Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Dhilla Agustin with name 205200059. Okay, in this video, I wanna explain about reading skill. Okay guys, the next I wanna explain about the definition of reading. Do you know guys? If you don't know, let's follow my video. Okay, reading is learning text in English which is often feels students to be boring. The situation depends how the teacher uses learning methods in the classroom. In order for the learning process to be active, teachers must be creative in choosing learning method. Okay, the next I want to explain about extensive reading material. One of the fundamental conditions of successful intensive reading program is that students should be reading material which they can understand. If they are struggling to understand every word, they can hardly be reading for pleasure the main goal of this activity. It means that we need to provide books which either by chance or because they have been specially written are readily accessible to our students. Okay, the next material is about the strategies of teaching reading extensive. The first one is setting up library. In order to set up an extensive reading program, we need to build up a library of suitable books. Although this might appear costly, it will be money well spent. If necessary, we should persuade our school and institution to provide such funds or raise money through other sources. If possible, if we should organize static libraries in the classroom or in some other part of the school. If this is not possible, we need to work out some way of carrying the book around with us in boxes or on trolleys. Once books have been purchased, we should code them for level and genre so that students can easily identify what kind of book they are. We should make the student aware of what the library contains and explain our classification system to them. We need to devise some way to keeping track of the books in the library. A simple signing out system should ensure that our collection doesn't disappear over time. As administrator, all of this setting up procedure take time, but we can use students to help the scheme. We can, if we are lucky, persuade the school administration to help us. Okay, the next strategy is we can use the lecture method. In this stage, the lecture method is used in delivering the material. The lecture method, namely by providing an explanation by speaking, so that student can knowledge and insight about the concept of extensive reading for English language learners. This method is used to convey material that is theoretical, concept, and principle in extensive reading. And then uh, the next strategy is discussion method. In this stage, discussion and question and answer methods were used after students are equipped with knowledge and insight into the concept of extensive reading for English language learners. Participants can ask questions and provide feedback regarding the presentation of material by the research person. Okay, the next is media of extensive reading. We can explain how they can make their choice of what to read, making it clear that the choice is theirs, but that they can consult the other student reviews and comments to help them make that choice. And then students should be allowed to choose their own reading text, following their own likes and interests. Okay, the next material about the main activities of extensive reading. The first is read friendly. What is read fluently? Read fluently is read as smoothly as possible. Students are asked to read fast reading, either through reading aloud or silent reading in the heart. And then number two is get information. So, student reading text with the aim of obtaining information new and activate prior knowledge as a comparison material in reading. And the next is read to enjoying reading. The purpose of reading is to enjoy and live the text reading. At this stage, students deepen reading by found sight. And the next is reading with meaning general. Students read with the whole text reading to find ideas and ideas reading subject. Okay, the next material about closing activity of extensive reading. We can give the assignment about the extensive reading to students. Because students should be allowed to choose their own reading text. Following their own likes and interests, they will not all be reading the same text at once. For this reason, and because we want to prompt students to keep reading, we should encourage them to report back on their reading in a number of ways. Uh, One approach is to set aside a time at various points in a course, say every 2 weeks, at which students can ask questions or tell their classmates about books they have found particularly enjoyable or noticeable helpful. However, if this is inappropriate because not all students read at the same speed, or because they often don't have much to say about the book in front of their college, we can ask them each to keep a weekly reading diary either on its own or as part of any learning journal they may be writing. Students can be also read short book reviews for the class notice board. At the end of a month, a semester, or a year, they can vote on the most popular book in the library. Other teachers have students fill in reading records chart, where they record title, publisher, level, start and dates, comments about level, and a good or fine or poor overall rating. They ask students to keep a reading notebook where they record facts and opinions about the books they have controlled, or they engage students in oral interviews about what they are reading. We can also put comment sheets into the books for students to write in, as the following example for a book called The Earthquake Shows. Okay, let's continue our material about intensive reading. In order to get students to read and to enthusiastically in class, we need to work to create interest in the topic and text. However, there are further rules we need to adopt when asking students to read intensively. Number one is organizer. We need to tell students exactly what their reading purpose is. Give them clear instruction about how to achieve it and explain how long they have to do this. Once we have said you have 4 minutes for this. We should not change the time unless observation suggests that this is necessary. And the next is observer. When we ask students to read on their own, we need to give them space to do so. This means restraining ourselves from interrupting that reading, even though the temptation we may be to add more information or instruction. While students are reading, can observe their progress change. This will give us valuable information about how well they are doing individually and collectively. It will also tell us whether to give them so extra time or instead move to organizing feedback more quickly than we had anticipated. And the next is feedback organizer. When our students have completed the text, we can lead a feedback session to check that they have completed it successfully. We might start by having them compare their answer in pairs and then ask for answer from the class in general or from pairs in particular. Students often appreciate giving part answer like this sites. By sharing their knowledge, they are also sharing their responsibility for the answer. When we ask students to give answers, we should always ask them to say where in the text they found the relevant information. This provokes a detailed study of the text, which will help them the next time they come to a similar reading passage. It also tells us exactly what comprehension problem they have if and when they get answer wrong. It is important to be supportive when organizing feedback after reading if we are to counter any negative feelings students might have about the process and if we wish to sustain their motivation. Okay, and the next is prompter. When students have a read text, we can prompt them to notice language feature within it. We may also ask controller direct them to certain features of the construction, clarifying ambiguities and making them aware of issues of text structure which they had come across previously. Okay, I think enough about our material. Thank you for your attention. I think enough. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.